All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, happy Sunday. I don't know any other holidays. I can make some stuff up, but it's probably gonna make me sound crazy. So not only am I on YouTube, I'm also on my Facebook page, which is Bobby the Overtaker. And I decided that I would also do hello everybody. I'm also on TikTok. So I'm here on TikTok, but I'm also on my YouTube channel. If any one of my mods or anybody who loves me can do both, can do TikTok and have another device and do YouTube, I would appreciate that, because if somebody has a YouTube on if somebody has a question on either platform, I want to be able to reach people on both of them. So whichever one you want to go on, you can go on. The only one I can't answer questions off of is my Facebook channel, because I don't have that many devices. And I wish I did. Um, Regarding last night, let me say this. I have no apologies. Um, I give no, and I won't curse because I really try to respect Queen and her position, but I give none. And I have no apologies. And that's it. I said what I said. I admit what I said. And um, I believe there was a threat to me last night. Someone banging on my door, which is weird because it's never happened before, and it only happened after that. But I don't usually run from things that scare me. I usually run toward them, and all you did was make me angry. So we'll deal with that at another time. I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna talk about is one of those things that is deemed as controversial, but I don't think it's controversial. I really don't. I think that this topic is a sore spot for some people because they have no idea how to submit. That's what I think. And I think that, and I'm not just talking about women. There are men out there and children that cannot submit because they have no idea what it is. They don't have an idea what it is. And because they have no idea what it is, they make up this idea of what it is from either personal experience, someone has told them a story about it, or they have decided that I'm not going to do it because it sounds like slavery. And so we're going to knock over some of the myths about submission, and we're just going to talk about it. If anyone wants to come up on my live, if anyone wants to come and have a discussion on my YouTube channel, just let me know. I think that I might still be able to. I can still send out, and I can invite you onto my YouTube channel, and you can get into the little, I call it a ring. You can get into the ring with me, and we can debate it if you would like to. And understand that YouTube is not TikTok. And so I'm a little bit freer on my YouTube than I am on TikTok. And best believe I'll cut TikTok off. And me and you can go toe to toe. Okay? All right then. So we're going to get started. I do have a co-host, and I hope she comes in because I really like having these conversations with people back to back. With back and forth, and somebody talking to me, and having a good dialogue. Hi, hi everybody. I just wanted people on TikTok to know that I'm not ignoring you. I'm on TikTok right now. I'm on YouTube right now, and I'm on Facebook right now. And if you want to join in with the conversation, then by all means, I can bring you up on my TikTok. Or I can, I would prefer that you ask for an invitation from YouTube, but you don't have to do that either. And so if you're on either one of the platforms, please, I have mods on TikTok. And if you have a question, they'll pin it and I'll be able to see it once I look over there. Hi, Denise. And like I said, if I don't get to tell you hi, I don't get to respond to you. I have mods that are going to be coming on later on, and they're just like ushers in a Baptist church, honey. They'll invite you in, welcome you in, and give you the one rule that we have about respect. Okay, so I really, really want to talk about submission. I almost changed the title of this podcast until I saw the news on TikTok about a young lady who had been unalived and dismembered by a Caucasian man who she had went on her first date with. She was a 19-year-old child. And instead of the comments being full of love and prayer for her parents and love and outpouring of condolences and all of this, some women took to TikTok to explain and to put a period and to emphasize the reason why they're by themselves. So instead of giving love to this child's parents, instead of using this time to show unity with other sisters and unity with the brothers that we most of the time say ain't shit, instead of showing solidarity in our community, we take to TikTok as Black women. Not all of us. We take to TikTok and we decide that this is the perfect time for us to explain why we need our peace and we love being alone. And this is why I'm by myself. And this is why I don't date. And this is why, and it's ridiculous to me. It is ridiculous to me that you would take the pain of whatever her family and friends is going to spread your agenda of why you think that you should be alone. Oh, and let's not forget, and let's not forget the idea that if you were in a forest by yourself, what would you prefer, a man or a bear? And the women saying a bear. And what they really meant was, because if he had given them, if the person who was asking the question had given them three another option, they would have taken that one. And then you can tell me where I'm lying. Because the question should have been, if you were in a forest by yourself, which would you prefer to be with? A man, a bear, or your rose? And I promise you, on being pecan tan and my edges not ever coming back, that she would pick that rose. Because I genuinely believe that our problems started with that rose. Because not only did it give you the illusion that your back was being knocked out, it also gave you the illusion that a man is no longer needed in your life. And using the tragic and the awfulness of this little girl losing her life to spread your agenda of why you're going to stay single and why you are advocating for the destruction and demise of our community is ridiculous to me. And you look intelligent. You got on the right glasses. You look intelligent. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You're sitting on the porch of your own house, wrapped up in a blanket, telling everyone that was your listeners and everyone that scrolled through and caught you on TikTok that that young lady died, and that is the reason that you're by yourself. Not understanding that you were by yourself before she died, and that you were going to remain by yourself now that she's gone. And you're not by yourself because you love it. You're a liar. You're by yourself because you don't want to do the work. You don't want, and then you're saying, hello, Tina. You're on and you're saying, I'd rather be by myself because I keep my peace. I'd rather be by myself because men are dangerous. How do you mean men are dangerous? I grew up in the 70s and 80s where we played outside and rode bicycles with no helmets and we jumped on swings and we flipped over. We went to the swimming pool by ourselves. We walked home from school with a key around our neck. What you talking about is dangerous to date a man. And I'm gonna get into my topic, Tina. I'm gonna get into my topic because it goes along with my topic beautifully. So one of the reasons, and I guarantee you, is not because they want peace. I guarantee you, it's called lazy. I don't care how hurt and damaged the person is. They can be. Listen, they can be reformed. Okay? They can be. Now, we're not gonna dismiss the fact that there was a man that dismembered this young lady. I understand that. We get that. I get that. But this is the thing. Let me say that I do agree with some people that most people cannot be reformed once they hit a certain wall in their lives, and I get that, and I get that. And that man, he done. There's no coming back from that. There's no reforming from that, and I get that. But to equate everyday men with this man who is an anomaly and someone who is obviously has mental issues or he has an issue against women, to other men that are just walking the streets and in the grocery store buying cantaloupes is beyond my comprehension. And it was like people were waiting for something tragic to happen so that they could say, see, this is why I don't date. This is why I'm by myself. No, you don't date and you by yourself because you lazy and you choose not to do the work. It's not that you, and I'm finna get into it right now because this is the thing. It ain't that you just don't want to do the work for somebody else and help them. You don't want to do the work for yourself. Because there are things that you deal with that you don't want to deal with nobody else. So you say, I'd rather be alone and I love it. Of course you love it. You ain't got to do no work. You ain't got to open up yourself to nobody. And you don't have to take the burden of somebody else opening up to you so that they can get that off of them. And again, I say, you lazy. No one loves being alone. But I guarantee you this, there's going to come a time when you start making phone calls down your list and ain't nobody going to answer. And that's when you're going to need them the most. And then I want you to remember that you got on this click on the TikTok app and you said, I love being alone. And this is why I keep my peace. Because and this is the other thing, if you're the one giving yourself the peace, then what do you open up yourself for God to do? You done did the job. Because I say this all the time. Grace, mercy, peace, and joy, those are all things that God gives. Because he gives them perfectly. You giving yourself your own peace, you giving yourself your own joy, you giving yourself grace and mercy, it ain't gonna last. It's just not gonna last. It's just you rattling around in your $2 million house, saying how much you love being by yourself. And when it get too lonely, you open that bottom drawer in your bedroom. And let me go on to my topic. So the topic is true submission. But we're also going to talk about the thorns or the issues that we deal with, that we have in our lives that we refuse to deal with. Okay? So let me give you a definition. All right? Google Dictionary says that submission is the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. That's what it is. How y'all doing over there on TikTok? That's what that is. It's yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. A simpler definition is this: the act of accepting the power, listen to me, the act of accepting the power or authority of someone else. When you are, and so when you put the word accepting in there, it means that you've held out your hand, you opened up your heart, you opened up your mind, and you did that on your own recognizance. You knew that you were doing that. It was something that you accepted. It's something that you wanted. It's something that you took because that's what you wanted. That definition is the one of submission that we're going to be talking about today. That is the definition of what God was talking about when he was talking about you being in a relationship with someone. Because the submission, I believe, in my interpretation, you can tell me if I'm wrong, of the first definition, it says accepting, but it also says yielding. It says yielding to a superior force. And sometimes when you think about the word yielding, you're thinking about somebody forcing you to do that too. You ever get in an argument with your big brother or big sister, and she put your hands and she forced your hands behind your back and tell you, give up. And that kind of yielding, I think, is why people use the definition of submission in such a negative way. Okay? So the key word in the second definition, and it's not one I made up, we're still on Google, the act of accepting the power or the authority of someone else. The key word is accepting, which makes a submission a choice or a conscious decision. It is going to be your choice. It is going to take a conscious decision for you to submit under the authority and the power of who you deem is head of you and your household. Whether it be your husband, or if you're single, then it's God. But we're not talking about single people. We're talking about married people. And so it would be you, your husband, and then God. Okay? So, but all of these, but he has to submit too. So don't get me wrong. He's submitting under something too. But on each level of submission, there is a choice or a conscious decision to do so. You're not just submitting to someone because of the power. So don't think about just the word power. Understand that you're also accepting the authority of that person. But the authority and the power that they have is not just over you. It is something that you give to them willingly. Because what you're giving them power over and authority of is you, but this is what I wrote. I wrote submission in marriage is out of reverence, not just to that person, but to God. If you reverence something higher than yourself, and you're with someone who also reverences someone higher than themselves, then that's what you're given. That's the authority that they have. That's the power and authority of your respect. That's what you're submitting to. Exactly, Queen. That's what you're submitting to. You're submitting to the power and authority in them, of the God in them. But don't get it twisted. If they're not submitting to a higher power, then your submission and your respect for them is not warranted, and it's definitely not guaranteed. And in order for you to even get to that point, you have to work. You have to do the work. Because you can't. So when you say, I just want to be alone, and I love being alone, and it helps me to keep my peace, then what you're saying is, I'm too lazy to do the work. What you're saying is, I'm not finna do this. because I'm not raising no grown man. You don't have to raise a grown man. But what you can do is you can teach another person how to treat you respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
You can teach another person how to treat your children and them, my God, themselves respectively. Because if he treats you respectively and you treat him with respect, and it trickles down to your children, then you are beginning to raise and to show a generation what submitting in under different levels means to everybody. Because the submission that your children have to you is totally different than what you have to your spouse or your significant other. And the submission that your head has to God is way different, because the submission that he has to God is heavier, because he has to take care of everybody else that is submitting to him under the umbrella or under the roof of where he is. So what they say, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can submit all you want to, but if you're submitting to someone who does not understand leadership,
Mm-hmm.
then you might as well just give your dog the whole plate instead of crumbs to teach him not to beg. Because you're wasting your time. I am feeling better today. Thank you, Candy Girl. I appreciate y'all. So here's the next thing. It is for his leadership that we submit to our husbands, not as a dictator and not as our supervisor. We submit because we trust that his leadership skills and ability are going to get us through whatever we're going through. Even if we're just going through happy times, we are submitting to his leadership, letting him understand and letting our children understand and letting God understand that you have ordained this thing and you have trusted him enough to do all of this. Because when you get your children, God isn't it the same thing as God is trusting you to take care of the gifts that he's giving you? Okay. So this is so hard for some women and some men to do, because we are too busy talking about toxicity. We're talking about what's the word now, Mimi? When they talk about men, masculine energy.
Yeah,
toxic masculinity,
mm-hmm.
toxic femininity.
Mm-hmm.
We so busy talking about being toxic on either side, and less about the thorns we all have from past relationships and life in general, that we miss the whole point of why we going through and why we need each other so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Because what God created was perfect, was it not? I do feel better today, Valerie. What God created was perfect, wasn't it? Man was perfect. But even in his perfection, what did he say? He said, I'm going to give you somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody should be alone. And so for you to come out and say that you love being alone and you think you should be alone is asinine to me. And then to tell me you believe in God and that God is the head of your life. And you didn't get past Genesis, the first chapter. I'm just trying to understand how you think that you can go through this life and you're going to be successful and happy, because being successful and being happy is not having joy and peace. Understand this, because joy is given from God, and so is peace.
Right.
So your happiness and your successfulness and your so-called peace is not God given.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were so peaceful and at rest, then why you have to tell 20 million people every day? Who you convincing, me or you?
Right.
And then we deal, especially with me and Mimi, and the things that we've been through, and the things we talked about in our last podcast. If anybody, can somebody preach with me? If anybody should not want to deal with somebody walking around with a penis, it should be me and Mimi.
Mm-hmm.
We should have given up on love and romance and all of that because of the pain and the women who've been through that.
Yep.
But when you come to understand that the void you're trying to fill has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with the house, the car, the red bottoms, the oh, I can't stand them ugly ass dogs they getting now. It don't have nothing to do with any of that.
Right.
If you have not dealt with the issues that that I call thorns. One of my favorite disciples was Paul. Because he had something going on with him. He never told nobody. But when I tell you he asked God all the time, over and over and over and over again, he take this, and God kept saying, nope, nope, nope. And it took me a while to realize that it wasn't that God didn't like him or he was punishing him. He knew that he would not have been the man that he became, and we would still be talking about him today if he had removed that thorn. And that's the thing with some of us. Some of us deal with things that we wish that God would just take away. But would you pray the same way? Would you meditate the same way? Mm-hmm. Would you move and duck? And would you do that in crisis the same way? If God just took whatever it was you was dealing with and just took it away?
Nope.
And you would not. So let me tell you, let me say this. Hold on a second. If I can see it. I tried to make it bigger, but if I make it bigger, I can't see. Y'all know I need my glasses. So one of the hardest things for people to admit is that they have a weakness or a thorn. And all thorns are not weakness. Mm-hmm. All thorns are not weakness. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. To admit to any type of weakness or fault would be an open invitation into that secret place that we reserve for those long sleepless nights. You know, when your mind, when you can't sleep, mm-hmm. and you allow, because most of the time when we're real busy, we can push it out. We ain't got to think about that. But them nights when you can't sleep and we say, okay, fine, I'll just think about it. If I think about it, then it'll go away. Mm-hmm. So on those long, lonely nights that you have, and you can listen, this is not talking about single people. We talking about everybody. We ain't just talking about people who married, who's single. Married people, you can be in the same bed with somebody and still struggling with stuff because we refuse to tell our spouses everything about us. Mm-hmm. Because what we feel is a weakness. If you open up to your spouse, it could draw y'all closer to each other. But understand this. Understand that when you open up to your spouse, that understand and make sure that he has the same respect for you and your submission that you have for him, so that he can be submissive enough to God to open up to you. You understand? And some of this goes for people who are just in regular good old friendships. Mm-hmm. Regular good old friendships with your friend. And I've said this before, and I think is worth repeating. If you have a friend and all they do is listen and they never give you any insight or stories about themselves, run. Right. And I don't care if they've been your friend since kindergarten. Right. Because what they're doing is they holding it. And a lot of people like to hear what you're going through and see you going through because it makes them feel better about the stuff that they're going through. I'm really trying not to curse because Queen on here, and I really, really don't like to disrespect her. But she knows that if it come out, I don't mean to. To admit to weakness or an issue that we deal with daily would be admittance that we are not perfect and that our lives are not somehow exempt from trial. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. We talk about not having money. We talk about the kids acting up. We talk about the car being repossessed. And we talk about and our husbands and all this and how they're impossible to deal with. But if you would peek into the heads of those people who get on this app and say, I don't need no man, I love being alone. And when they say they love being alone, that means they really don't have a lot of friends either. You peek into their homes, into their lives when the TikTok goes off, and when the flawless makeup is removed, We're not asking you to look for pimples and blemishes. We're asking you to look at them in the eye and see how they really see themselves. Look at those people whose children never give them any trouble. You know, they're perfectly dressed, perfectly. Look behind that. Whose job is perfect, and what would we see? What would you see when what do you see when I take the filter off? What would you see once the lights go off and the cameras and everything go off? What would you still see? I don't know what y'all see when y'all look me in my eye. Would you still see that? Or would you see something else? And not necessarily trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can look at a person and they take all that stuff off, and what you see is the demon in them.
Mm-hmm.
When they sometimes sadness, weariness, Candy, keep on putting the words up because you're exactly right. She's exactly right. You see sadness and weariness, but we let's look beyond that. Because some people mean, some people evil.
Yep.
Some people have stand in the mirror and practice smiling, practice being a good person. And those are the people that have to. I'm gonna go ahead, Mimi. Go ahead. I hope y'all can hear Mimi too. Go ahead, Mimi.
No, I was saying some people pretend to be put together because when the lights go off, that's it. Once the curtains close, their real true personality comes out, and it doesn't matter if, like you said, the piggyback off of what you said, doesn't matter if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, if you're by yourself. At some point, we all have to take a look at ourselves to see.
Yep.
And people wear masks so it's covered, like makeup and different things, so you won't see the sorrow, so you won't see the demon. But if you're an intellectual person and you're in tune with yourself as well as in tune with God, you'll see behind the fake smile. You'll start to hear the conversations that they don't think you can hear. You don't even have to be in the room, and God will everything that people thinks about you. Crazy because that happens.
Yeah.
That
Candy says it's the game face that we have.
Gotta put on your game face.
Yeah, but it's a mask that but you have to think about and I'm just gonna say this and then I'm gonna get back to it, but you have to think about our parents teach us that.
Yeah.
Your parents teach you what goes on in this house stays in the house. When you get to your grandma's house, you better not. And when we get to this school, you better keep a smile. And when and our parents, I know my mom and was like that. And you could not show any emotion outside of our house except happiness and acceptance. And this is one reason I wrote this in my book. This is one reason that I loved holidays. Because I didn't know any better. Because on holidays, we were really a family. We played games and we laughed and joked. But when them people left, our house was just as quiet as it was before they got there.
But isn't it crazy how our parents taught us how to lie, but get mad at us when we did lie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? But that's crazy too. I tell people all the time, why are you making your child say hi to me? Do you want them to talk to strangers or not? Because you're giving them mixed signals. And people look at me like, it's not that serious, but it is that serious.
It is.
You're forcing your child to do something that they don't want to do. Maybe they see something in me they don't like.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, you're the line between stranger and whatever else. You done blurred that line. And Sanchez got nieces, like all nieces. And I know he don't play that with his nieces. You cannot tell me at home, don't talk to strangers. It's bad because they this. And then we get out in the street, you knocking me upside my head and fussing at me all the way to the car because I decided not to talk to a stranger. Pick a lie. You feel like pick a lie.
My dad, even though he wasn't as involved in my life, he always taught me like little lessons that I kind of regret not teaching my kids, like stranger danger. They already know that, but I'm just saying, like, we used to have like a code. If someone what would be the code names that they would have to use in order for you to know who they were, whether they were safe or not safe. And I kind of regret that, but I also don't, because in life you're not supposed to live with regrets. And if I'm being honest, I became a parent at 15. So I didn't have like a book that showed me exactly what to do with my kids and what not.
Honey, there is no book.
Yeah.
There have been many written, but honey, there is no book because your children are not children themselves are not a monolith. They don't all act the same. They don't all develop the same. I did daycare for 25 years, and I got to understand that all children don't do, and they're not at the same level as every other child. But let's let's bring that back around to women. And then again, y'all know I talk about women because I am one. To this thing where women are saying that they don't want to do this or whatever, but understand that there's no man going to be at the particular level of that you want him because he's a certain age, because he's a certain demographic, because he does a certain job. You are not where a lot of people think that you should be. And so one of the most dangerous things that we do as humans, and right now, especially with social media, is the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all times. And I want to be just like that. Is that you forget and you don't understand that you have no idea what that person suffered to get to that level. And so don't ask for that, first of all. The second thing is that may not be your calling. Like making them cups. That's I wanted it to be my wheelhouse. That's not my wheelhouse. And I hate doing something that I fail at. But it ain't mine. That's somebody else's stuff. And so that's not my thing. And so if we would stop trying to judge people because I did it, and it doesn't matter, because what the stumbling blocks that other person had may not have been the stumbling blocks that you had may not have been at the same level as theirs, because you might have been able to step or jump over yours. They had to climb over theirs. Do you understand? So there's a difference in how we do stuff. So this is the thing too. If you love someone and they reciprocate that love, they give it back to you, then submission is not something that would cause you to be stressed. If that person loves you and you love them, then where is the stress coming in? I'm not understanding it. I can never understand how a woman in a marriage or in a relationship is talking about how stressed out she is because he this, that, and the other. When I don't understand why we're not having these conversations before we get married. You cannot be so caught up in the wedding dress and the invitations and the bridesmaids dresses, which most of y'all need. I'm gonna have another whole podcast on that. Y'all stop putting back up, because I got a public service announcement. If y'all don't stop putting y'all bridesmaids in them ugly ass dresses, I promise I'm gonna start coming to some of y'all weddings. You are the bride, you're gorgeous. Why you got them puke green? It ain't cute for nobody wedding. That was a public service. I had to get that out. I had to get it out. All right, Mimi, go ahead, baby. But you wanted to back up.
Like the wedding dresses, some people are so blinded that before we even get to the proposal, you're stigmatized. Excuse me, Queen. I had to. And you're so busy worried about what that man got between his legs that you haven't even had a chance to meet the family. You don't know nothing about this man, but you're ready to skip, hop, jump, even cartwheel.
Don't let him have green. Don't let him have green or blue eyes that are not contacts, and don't let him have no curly hair. Because honey, you don't even care that his uncle sleeps in the back room and lick paint and jerk off to SpongeBob. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care because, yeah. Oh, my brother, Mimi, go ahead. Y'all know I love my brother. So Mimi gonna keep on going where she going at, and this is probably where God wanted me to stop because I was getting out of hand. Queen, pull me back. Come on now. Go ahead, Mimi. Go ahead. Let me fix my brother want bread pudding, y'all.
It's okay, but I do figure that we should know who we're dealing with before we even get to the proposal. Before we even get into deep, like people are not asking the questions. They're not sitting down and having the conversations that they should be having. It's way more than just knowing his first, middle, last name, you need to know everything before you take that plunge, because marriage is not a game. People say marriage is just a piece of paper, but it's really not. It's a commitment.
Talk, Mimi. Talk.
You said what, Auntie?
I said, talk, girl. You preaching over there. You better do it.
Whether or not the man or the woman chooses to honor their vows in the eyes of God, it doesn't matter who messes up first. It doesn't matter who messes up last. It's the point of you took a vow to honor, love, and cherish this person for better or for worse. But when we get to the for better or for worse, we're not talking about when this man is cheating, this man having a million babies, when this man is beating on you. We're not talking about that, because then the marriage is over. The way I look at it, I'm not sure what everybody else is feeling. I'm not trying to push my beliefs on you, but what I'm saying is there's a thin line between love and hate. And I just feel like, in my opinion, when it comes to submission, we as women, we ain't trying to feel that. Some of us, we really not trying to feel that. And I'm saying we, because I once was like that. I once was a person like, I'm not submitting. I'm not doing this. I'm going to do what I want to do, this, that, and the third. But now I'm the type of person, after watching Auntie and listening to her, she makes a lot of sense. And this new age love that we talking about, we going to be alone and zapping our, you know what, for the rest of our lives, if we don't wake up and listen to what is
Shirley. Yeah. So being submissive to the one, because I want you to understand that we're talking about the person that we love, that we have said that we're going to spend the rest of our lives with.
Yeah.
I understand that there are 365 days in the year. Mm-hmm. Imagine those 365 days in a year multiplied by 50 years. Another 60. Listen, God bless 70 years. And you mean to tell me that, thank you from Wichita, Kansas, I appreciate you, Shirley, that you are going to live with that person and y'all going to be arguing back and forth on something as simple as you just stepping back, dialing down your masculinity, and just letting someone else take the reins. I'm not telling you to jump off a bridge. I'm not telling you that when he said we're going to go across this ditch, trying to get across it because he said so. Because if he is the leader that you said that you married, if he's the leader and you married him because of that leadership and not because he got a big penis, then following him into a shadowy place is not hard for you to do. Because being submissive to the one you love, trust, and you pour out your admiration to, oh baby, you cute, baby, you hunt, baby, this and that, is not hard, nor does it feel like slavery. Mm-mm. And one of the things that I know that a lot of women don't think about when they think about submission is that if you don't pour admiration and adoration, you want me to say it? I say it like we said in the, if you don't compliment this Negro, and then you just keep letting him walk out the house, and he thinking to myself, dog, she ain't saying nothing about this shirt. Man, she ain't saying nothing. I just got my, because honey, let me tell you something. A man go get an edge up, talk to me, Mimi. You go to the barber shop and you come home with a new fresh haircut, my legs will be at 10 and 2 so quick. I can't. Because a man with a fresh haircut, honey, will beat Denzel walking across the TV screen anytime. And so, but if you don't ever compliment him in the way that you want him to compliment you, see, that's another thing. We want all the accolades. Girl, dinner was good. Girl, that coochie was good. Man, the children was great. We want that. Mm-hmm. And he gotta have a car, and he can't live with his mama, and he gotta have a job paying 6 figures, and he gotta have a big penis, and so what are you bringing? I'm right. Cute. I got me, you bringing your BBL and that rose. Guaranteed. And this does not negate what I said last night. You being okay in your own space with your money and your business has nothing to do with what you and that man gonna build together. And if you are so focused on being independent inside of your marriage, the problems that y'all gonna have, only God can fix.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How do you feel about hidden bank accounts or apartment on the side? Do you feel like that means that you're possibly expecting the marriage to fail? So you trying to have like a cushion to fall back on?
Yeah, but that's not possibly expecting. You are expecting it to fail.
Right. So
because the only way that you would do that is because you already in your mind leave. You already done left. Let me tell you how the difference between a man and a woman leaving. A man, when a man is going to leave his whatever, he leaves. He don't care if he got to sleep in his car. He don't care if he got to sleep on the floor at his grandmama's house. When he say he gonna leave, he leaving. Because a man is not as good at deception as a woman. And you can argue with me till the cows gonna come home. The one I'm gonna jump over the moon. A couple of disciples and 2 Marys gonna come down here, because I'm gonna tell you that men are, and the reason that men are not as deceptive as women is because a man does not know how to keep a secret of something good happening that he thinks is good happening to him. So it ain't that he a better liar, is that he can't keep his damn mouth closed when he think he found a better something that he. You ever see a man get a car and then he get a better deal with another car? He telling everybody. And that's how a man is when he cheat on somebody. He's so busy telling his friends how good he got it that he not worried that he gets sloppy, not understanding that it's gonna get back around. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's go back to it. When a woman is leaving a man, she ain't telling nobody. Now listen, don't listen to me. Unless he is abusive and she fears for her life, then she will tell somebody. And if you're in that situation, me and Mimi will tell you, if you fearful, you tell somebody that he don't know. And you take your clothes there, your money there. We're gonna have a whole nother show on that. I guarantee you, me and Mimi gonna hit those spots. So I had to get to that and tell you so you understand. But when a woman gonna leave, she gonna keep on cooking. She gonna keep on doing what she gotta do. She may not have sex with you as much, but she gonna keep on doing what she gotta do. She gonna keep on building her nest egg over there. When she leave, he ain't gonna have no idea until he come on. Ain't no clothes in the closet. Because that's the difference of how we leave. So when your question is having a secret, see the word that you said right there, you don't have that, not those kind of secrets in marriage. If your brother-in-law hit on you one time at a Christmas thing because he was drunk and he never does it again,
that's different.
That's a secret you keep.
Yeah.
If it continues to happen, you tell. Do you understand me? If one of the kids gets locked up and your husband out of town, you had to bail him out, and that's a secret you may not tell because you saving your child life. You feel me? But a bank account and the secret money or a secret place to live, if you two love each other, then why the secret?
Right.
Because whatever is going on, there's an underlying something. It's a good question, but it's not enough information in that question.
Right.
Because you have to factor in what are the dynamics of what's going on in that marriage right now.
Right.
Is he abusive?
Right.
Is she abusive? Is there trauma? So it's a good question, but I can't answer it in all honesty because there's too many other factors that we're not hitting with that question.
Right.
So go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just saying, like, the man's not abusive, the wife isn't abusive. It's just something that the wife had going on in the past, and she just decided before she got married that she was just going to have this bank account just in case, and she was gonna have a apartment just in case. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like they get married and then she do it.
I can understand the money.
Yeah.
I would not call that a secret if it's before the marriage.
Right.
I would not call that a secret if it was before the marriage. But if it's during the marriage, I think it's weird because you're taking funds from what could be going on inside of your house and putting a lot more pressure on him because you squirreling away and he don't know. Yeah. And his thing is she just ain't helping. So you could start something crazy in your marriage over a secret that was not necessary. Right. If you have money put away for whatever rainy day that you feel that you deem might come, it has nothing to do with your marriage. Right. Because you were doing that before your marriage. Right. Why you still would keep it a secret because you don't trust your husband is different to me. Because I'll say this, and I know people say it's not the same thing, but it is. Mm-hmm. If you let him put his penis in the orifices of you, and you let him put it in your mouth, you mean to tell me you will trust him to do that? But you don't trust to tell him that I had a bank account before we was together, and I'm planning on keeping that bank account. And these are conversations you have before you get married. These are conversations you have before you even put your legs at 10, let alone 2. These are these conversations. That way, if he decides that he don't like that, then or y'all say he said he like it or she like it or whatever, and y'all arguing and they say, well, then you know it's not, this is not the marriage or place you want to be. But then again, if this is the person that you love and you want to be with, this is where you put the work in. And this is where we're having a disconnect with men and women, because women are saying, and I'm not talking about men, I'm talking about us. This is where women are saying, I'm not going to put in the work. Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. He should already be perfectly where I need him to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, women, girl, listen, if you're waiting on a man to be perfectly where you want him to be, I guarantee you they're going to bury you with that rose. Right. And you might as well write your will and just put that ugly ass dog in it. Because you ain't going to have nobody else to leave your money to. Because ain't nobody, not even you, at a place in your marriage or whatever where you're supposed to be. Yep. So these little secrets, whatever you were doing before your marriage, he should not have a problem with your doing after your marriage if you are open with him. It ain't no use for y'all to be married for 50 years or 25 years and y'all get in an argument and y'all about to divorce. You said, and you tell him, nigga, I don't care. I had my money. I was set up anyway. Or y'all have an argument and you say, and it blurts out of your mouth. Because as women, to win an argument, we gonna say anything. And I told you yesterday, I told you 2 days ago or 3 days ago, the 4 things don't talk about with a man, because he may not never forgive you. He may stay, but he gonna be a bitter, honey. You don't talk about a man, other children. You don't talk about a man, mama. You don't talk about his car, and you better not ever talk about his stroke game in a negative way. Mm-hmm. Because how he gonna prove that he got good stroke game is he gonna do it with everybody you know. Yep. Because now he got proof, whether he's good at it or not. So my thing is, if you have a very sweet temper and you don't get upset or petty, I played Mimi the message I left my soon-to-be ex-husband. I'm not there. I'm not there. So I don't have secrets, because I will pull out my petty pocketbook, dig way down to the bottom, and I'm gonna say the thing that's gonna hurt you the worst. Yep. And so to keep me from doing that, why would I? There are no secrets. So hold on. Let me get back. If the head is not in agreement to be submissive to a higher power, I don't care if you don't worship God. I don't care if it's Buddha, Confucius, SpongeBob SquarePants, Tom and Jerry. I don't care. If the head of your house is not willing and able to be submissive to a higher power, then why did you walk down the aisle with Jamal? Why you walk down the aisle? Why did you walk down the aisle with Terrell? Because he knew how to blow your back out?
I was laughing because Jamal is one of my children's fathers. That's
why.
And that's the crazy thing, not to cut you off, but
no,
I was about
go ahead because I'm gonna check on my brother Ben Pudding. Go ahead.
Somebody for 5 years and they cheated for the first 3. And then I just stayed with them another 2 years just to be able to say that I tried and nobody couldn't say I told you so. And those 2 years those extra years that I chose to stay, I ended up pregnant twice, losing 2 babies. 2020, I was blessed with his baby. Now him and we don't talk. I said yes to getting married to him in 2022, and we were supposed to get married in 2023. I left mentally before I left physically. I left mentally 2 years before him and I even decided to even get engaged. And then February 8th, 23, I just decided that I was done. I couldn't do it no more. No, he had changed his. So yeah, it's just like what she was saying. If you know that that's not somebody that you want to be with, why walk down the aisle? Just so say I told you so. Why put yourself through that? If you really don't see yourself being submissive to this person, why do it? I really had to sit back and ask myself that. Why was I willing to be submissive to somebody that wouldn't be submissive towards me? And you really got to ask yourself that question. Why? Why would you get married to somebody? Because it ain't all about the penis. Because that could come.
How you doing, A&P? Right. Right. Because that gets old. And if you deal with somebody with a long-term illness, you still gonna mess up. Me and my brother gonna fight about this thermostat because he doesn't know how it works. I'm gonna cut you. Y'all heard me say I'm gonna cut him. I'm gonna cut y'all brother. Here, T. I'm gonna cut y'all brother.
Don't cut him.
But so you have to understand that submission is on both sides. So I said, if the head is not in agreement to be submissive to a higher power, then looking for submission in them is like looking for your edges after you done got what you call them thing? After you done got lace fronts for 20 years. What you looking for your edges for? You know they going. You know you done ripped them off. T-Nap, I'm gonna cut him. Because you looking for the impossible. Because if they're not willing to, first of all, if they're not willing to submit, this is why I know God good. This is new. If they're not willing to submit to a conversation about submission, what's up forever? If they're not willing to submit to sitting still long enough to talk about the uncomfortable things in our relation that's going to have that need to be talked about before we get married or before we move in with each other or before whatever. If they're not willing to submit to that, then why in your own good mind, good evening, Karen, would you think that they would submit to listening to God before making a decision on doing anything? Because listening to the bartender or listening to somebody on your TikTok or one of these men on these podcasts on life decisions in your household is ridiculousness. And so one of the first questions you should ask on one of your many, many dates or your many, many conversations is, who do you submit to? You feel me? Who do you submit to? What power greater than yourself do you submit to? And I guarantee you, that most of them, you eat all of it? Oh, okay. Okay. One of the powers that they submit to more than they submit to anything is their mama, who has not solved any of her issues and who has considered and said that my baby, he's been my boyfriend, he's my new man. And you talking about your son. So these are dangerous people to get into relationships with. It is dangerous for, now you can be a man who takes good care of his mother is a great man. But a man who runs his mother's household alongside her is a more dangerous man to be with. Because the control that she has over him, you will not break. He has to break it. I'm going to tell you right now, ain't enough wet in this world to take some men away from their mama. Because their mama has, oh, Sanchez, he dancing because I gave him bread pudding, and he get like that when he happy after he done eat something, child. And it's not enough good coochie. It's not enough good food. It's not enough. It ain't enough good nothing to take some men away from their mother. Because she has coddled them into thinking that women should treat them the way she do. But I guarantee you ain't no woman going to keep bailing you out of jail. Ain't no woman going to keep giving you money to let that girl have a AB. You know what I'm talking about? That's your mama, but women ain't gonna do that. You can throw your clothes on the floor all you want to, but it's guaranteed that I'm not going to pick them up all the time. And so the things that you do with your mom, you can't do with no other grown woman. And you should love a woman and your mama so much that you wouldn't put them through all of that work. This all goes back to love, respect, and submission. And so let's go back to the question. That's the question you should ask before you do anything. Listen, dinner was delicious, and I'm not ready to leave yet, but I ain't got no bunch of questions to throw at you because men don't like that, because that's when they start lying. I only got one. Who do you submit to? And see, let them try to figure out what you mean. And then you let them know who you submit to. You submit to leadership. You submit to love. You submit to honor, and you submit to grace. Grace in the sense that you're not gonna keep asking me what my body count is. Oh my God, that's a whole nother podcast. So I'm trying to stay on subject. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Am I off subject? Everybody, you following me? Am I all over the place? We good, Mimi?
We good.
Okay. All right. So just because you love someone or think you love them does not mean you respect them. Yeah. Y'all, did you hear that? A&P. You that was a hard one, wasn't it, A&P? Lily, that was a hard one. Tina and Karen. Sanchez, back up. Sanchez is about to start singing the old Negro spiritual in a minute. Just because you love somebody and I want to spend the rest of my life with them, and does not mean you respect them. Because love it's an emotion. It's emotional. Yeah. And because we're not God, love is also conditional. You understand? Mimi Sanchez says hi. So because love is emotional and conditional, love is emotional and conditional because I think you might give it back to me. And if I do this, you'll do this. If you do that, I do that. That's love for some people.
Yep.
And so, but we don't do the same thing for respect. Respect is something that has to be earned. I'm not going to respect you. I'm going to respect you if you respect me. Don't say that no more. Because no, you're not. No, you're not. Because whatever you did for me to say that bullshit, I'm trying, Queen, not to cuss. Whatever you did to me to make me say that, obviously I lost respect for you. So now you're going to have to earn it back.
Mm-hmm.
So if you so stop saying you respect me, I respect you. It's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because my respect does not, my love might be reciprocated because you love me back and you treat me, but respect, you have to earn that. Samiko, exactly. And that's not love. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm glad I'm glad y'all listening to me because I feel like I'm all over the place. And so, and love should not be on the condition that you do this and do that and love that. No, but we're talking about respect too, because respect is something that you have to earn from me. I will love you, and I'm still trying to earn I'm still trying to earn, or you're still trying to earn respect from me. Because just because I love you don't mean I respect you. Because I've seen people that I love do some stuff to other people that took all the respect that they earned away, and they had to re-earn it. But it did not negate the love that I felt for them. Because I try to love people without judgment, and I try to love them exactly what you said, without any conditions on it. Because that's true love. That's how God loves. Because if he had conditions, honey. So let's get back to, and so with all of that being said, and all of that, and we're talking about, and we're still really just talking about exactly AMP and the respect that cannot be re-earned should also go for the love that you have for them. Because being with someone that you love but do not respect is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Because when you try to make those two things synonymous, lines get blurred in the relationship. And you, especially with a woman with a man that she does not respect, he better run. Ain't no when I tell you we are petty, we are mean, and we think of the most. You do something to us in the wrong way that gonna make us looking back. A woman with a man that she does not respect, and he don't know, she'll do stuff to you that you would think that why would another human do? And it's little stuff. Because what she's trying to do is get respect back to herself. Because she's so mad that she done made the mistake of being with somebody who don't respect her, that she's gonna get it back in any way that she can. Just like when a woman tell a man, boy, your stroke game suck. Like, what song are you doing this to? Do we need to change the tempo? You tell a man that, he gonna knock everything twitch his way, trying to prove to you that you're wrong. And so women are the same way when you do something to hurt us, and then we lose respect for you. But we do little bitty stuff that don't nobody really notice until one of your friends said, "Dog, why she talk to you like that?" And then you think, and he just said, "Oh, that's just her. She always been like that." Exactly. And it's time to let it go. But most people aren't in relationships to keep their dignity. See, you have to understand that. A lot of people are in relationships because my mama said he wasn't no good, and she can't be right. I'm just gonna stay with him because she ain't gonna be right this time neither.
Yep.
Oh, my kids need a mama and a daddy in the house, and I have to stay. It got nothing to do with dignity. Most people stay in bad marriages because of their pride and their ego.
Yep.
That's it. It don't have nothing to do with dignity. It ain't got nothing to do with it is their pride. And their ego has been bruised.
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep.
Just like that, just your pride and your ego get bruised. Just like that lady made me so mad the other day, talking about when you what she say, Mimi? When you break up with somebody, it's like going through the 5 stages of grief.
The grief, yeah.
I have never heard such trivial bullshit. Somebody dying is not the same as somebody hurting your little feelings. They walked out on you and you thought they was better than that. Your feelings just hurt. You're not going through the 5 stages of grief.
Nope.
The anger you feel at somebody who died, you can't fix that. But the anger, like the anger I feel at my soon-to-be ex-husband, it's going to dissipate. And eventually I'm going to forgive him because that's the kind of person I am, but it ain't going to be right now.
Mm-mm.
So when we say things, let's be clear on what those things really mean.
Yep.
And exactly, nobody wants to admit that I screwed up and I married an asshole.
Nope.
Nobody wants to admit that I screwed up and I thought he was going to change once I showed him how much I loved him or how beautiful I looked when I walked down the aisle. Yeah, he crying because he realized I just bit the bullet. She didn't find out I was an asshole and she's still going to marry me. Mm-hmm. I still got a little bit more time before she find out. How you know that's not why he crying? You thinking he crying because you beautiful and you this and you, no, he might be crying because he just slid through.
Yep.
Your mama didn't see it, your daddy didn't see it, and you don't know that on the honeymoon he crying because, yep, I got me one. And soon as I beat into her or I knock into her that she ain't gonna be able to be with these same friends smiling on her face, then people cry out of happiness for that. Because they planning on, okay, that first time I hit her, she gonna get mad. But that man, listen, I have talked to truck drivers. And truck drivers, and I have that face. I know what questions to ask. People just open up to me. Mm-hmm. And they'll tell me, if my wife knew who I was before she married me, she would have, first of all, she would have never gave me her telephone number. And so instead of me judging him, you know what I said, Mimi? I asked the question, why, or what happened to you that you're this? Because you're not born or you grew up like, no. And I don't want to hear how I always been like this, because that's a cop-out answer. Mm-hmm. How long and what happened to you? T-Dab saying hi, Mimi. Hey. What happened to you? At what juncture did your road go from going straight and being okay till it just tilted off to the left, where you had to protect yourself to the extent that you had to hurt everybody else around you so they would not hurt you? Because that's the question. Not why you treat women like that. No. Don't get into the confrontation. Start at the beginning.
Yep. Some of it starts at home. Some of it.
Exactly. Like, and that's why you think you always been like that.
Some of it comes from the moms, though. If I'm being completely honest, you have some people out here who moms were not there for them, and they're there for trying to destroy every person that comes along that reminds them of their mom. I had a person tell me one time, because I said their name a certain way, they were like, "You sound just like my mother." I said, "Huh?" All I did was say your name. Come on, I said, you told me how much you despise your mama. Don't start looking at me like your mama.
Oh, yeah.
Unalive me thinking that I'm your mama, and I'm not that. Like, it's a lot of people that have mommy issues, and people that have daddy issues. Mm-hmm. I just feel like, again, that goes back to, not to get off subject, but that goes back to healing that child within those.
But it's not off subject. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not off subject. Because all of these things that we're talking about now with submission and all of that, if you saw your mom give the kind of submission that only comes from a woman who has been beat under the table, then your idea of submission is going to be that. Yep. If you watched your father get degraded and berated by a woman so that he would submit unto her, then your idea of submission would be that. Yeah. If you were in a place where it was equal submission, he helped when she helped when there was decisions to be made, you would hear your mom and daddy whispering or talking in the kitchen and coming to get, then your idea of submission is that. And so it all still comes back to the same thing. At what point did your idea of what a relationship is supposed to be like become that? where you would have to beat somebody under the table, or you would have to berate a man to get him to submit to you? Or where did it come from where you look at each other as equals? How did you get that? And so a lot of times when we do things or say things or whatever, if you would ask the right questions, you would get the right answers. And that's why I say that no couple should go on their first date alone, because it's very hard not to interrogate. Men are not doing it, women do it. How many children you got? What kind of job you got? How long you been doing this? What you been doing? What you got? And this and that. And then you wonder, after he answered those questions, you wonder why he thinks that you're going to give him some that night. And it's not because he think you loose. It's because he just told you everything that he thought you should know. So now you know me. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's always the case, but you know him now. You done asked him every question that you could ask him. Y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about for the second, third, or fourth date.
And that's
why I say that when you go on the first date, your first 2 or 3 dates. Thank you, Gracie. Your first 2 or 3 dates should be in a group. It should be in a group of either a whole nother couple or a group of 3 or 4 or other people, because that will stop you from throwing questions at him over and over and over and over again. Because first of all, men don't like that. They'll stay and they'll take it and they'll laugh it off. But men don't like to be questioned. Because why? Because in their DNA, God put that authority. And authority does not like to be bullet questioned. But if you learn how to space your questions out among the other chatter that is going around with all the rest of your friends, and then they're answering and he's answering, and it's just smooth like that, you wouldn't have no problems. And but you said that, go ahead, Mimi. I'm sorry, but you got to tell me to shut up.
And the info that you give, my mama taught me, because I was having problems in my last relationship. I said, Mom, it's not working out, this, that, and the third. And she was like, well, let me ask you a question. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, did you tell him everything when y'all first met? Like, did y'all sit down and talk about everything? You laid it all out on the table? I said, yes, ma'am. I'm like that. I'm an open book. She said, no. No wonder the man is not acting right. You done overloaded this man's brain. My mom told me, when you first meet a person, you do not tell them every single thing about you.
Yeah.
You leave them questioning something.
But I think that some women do that, Mimi. Mm-hmm. And I know I used to do it.
Yeah.
But you would think it wasn't, but it is. Oh, thank you. Appointed. I think that we did it as a defense mechanism, because if I tell you everything, then there is no reason for you to hurt me.
Yep.
And hold on 1 minute. Samika says, you also have to see how they walk. That talk can sound all real good, but not exactly. You got to you have to give yourself time to see other aspects of this person, Samika. I hope I'm saying your name right. I can just call you Miss Morris. And I read that because it was just good.
Oh no, that is
wasn't that good though? You have to see that not only are they talking that talk, but they're walking that walk too. And you can't see that in 2 or 3 dates. You cannot see that through text. You cannot see that through FaceTime. And good God, from 2 burning bushes and a cow that jumped over the moon, you cannot see it in a dick pic. I said it, Mimi.
Okay. And believe what they're showing you.
Exactly. Hold on a second. No, you go ahead and keep talking. I'm trying to see make sure I'm not missing stuff.
And being controlling and being, not willing to submit, like Auntie said, to the conversation that you're trying to have with them. Believe what they're showing you.
Right.
And sometimes a man won't even say much, but he'll show you how he actually feels. And what he shows you is how he actually feels about you.
Right. But
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because I wanted to say what Paulette did, but she pinned it for me. I'm gonna catch that in a minute.
If he decides that, y'all are sitting,
I got it, Paulette.
Conversation, start fidgeting or looking uncomfortable on the important conversations. Like, hey, you might say something simple like, hey, when's the last time you've been tested?
Right.
That's a red flag for me if I ask you that question and you start fidgeting and because some people don't like to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Just gotta know, like Miss Morris said, pay attention to the way they talk as well as the way they walk. And what I think that she meant, I don't think that she meant like physical walk. I think she meant like as far as their what they show you,
their body language. Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
But Paulette says, and I'm gonna agree to. I hate saying that because I don't agree. I'm going to I disagree. I understand, and not with your grandmother in general. So please don't think I'm being disrespectful, but I disagree. She says that my grandmother told me not to pillow talk with the man at all because they use it against you. And I am old fashioned. Don't pillow talk with men. So this is the problem that I have with that statement. And this is the reason why I have a problem with that statement, and the reason that we're having these conversations now is because some of the things that Black women taught us are the same things that white women talked about when their men were out hunting. And a lot of times we say things in their plantation speak, and it's just something that a white woman said to one of her house Negroes, and that house Negro went home and taught it to her daughters. And one of the problem that I have when people say that I can say something and you can use it against me, remember this, Miss Paulette. Scripture says, whether you read them or not, and most scripture comes from some African proverb, scripture says that weapons have to be formed. You understand? That means that person makes those weapons. You don't make the weapon against yourself. So what I tell you is no way you can use it against me. You know how I done opened myself up on this app so wide that, honey, listen, that everybody knows my business. And I'm not upset about that. But so when people come on here and talk about my edges, you feel me? I cut them all off because they weren't coming back. They were still back in 2019. Or this fupa, or these arms, or oh my God, don't even get me started on these lovely chins. It don't hurt me because I talk about it. If you come on here and talk about the Negroes I dealt with who used me as an ATM, who used me as a place to stay, you cannot hurt me with that. Because I gave you that information. You want to hurt me? Give me something new. Yeah. But I guarantee you, as I say often, Mimi, that you can't hurt me with nothing unless you can tell me one more time your mama dead. You beat that, honey. You can beat that, Mimi. Then you win the Cupido. Because nothing will ever hurt me as bad as that. Or the fact that I got cancer, the same kind she had, 3 months after she got it and died. So when you come up with something better than that, and that's how you got to think of them, Paulette, you should say anything you damn well please, especially if he just blew your back out. If a man blow your back out and you trying to relax and go to sleep, why the hell would you be still thinking about what you about to say? I'm so relaxed. All I want to know is, do you want your eggs scrambled or fried? We think too much. And our mothers have put it on us to be the ones to do all this thinking. That man done nuts. He done thinking for 15 to 20 minutes, unless he really good and he only need 5.
Or the rest of the night. Because he went to sleep
exactly
for 2 hours.
And so we put so much pressure. Hey, Jenny, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be this way and that way, and this mask we have to wear. That man those men have done the most intimate things to us that they can do to another person. And you mean to tell me the only thing that we can lay in the bed thinking about is don't tell him none of your business? What you want to know, boo? Because if you rocked me, honey, if you got my legs at 10 and 2, and if you real good, they might be at 9 and 3. The last thing I'm thinking about is what I'm not going to tell you. The only thing I'm thinking about is how quick can I get to the Gatorade? And I hope I don't catch a cramp during the next session. Let me stop. Okay, so we're off the subject, and I'll plan on getting back on. We'll finish this up next Sunday. So give me a second on TikTok. So YouTube. Nobody comes over to YouTube when they're on here because they like this one better. But we're going to, I'm going to end my live session on YouTube, and then I'm going to repost this one. I am apologizing for the last one because I couldn't repost it because I put music at the beginning and YouTube banned it. And that's why you could not see that. And that's why we'll be talking about other things, and Mimi will be able to interject some of the things that we talked about then. And like I said, it was my bad, and I apologize. But this is my thing too. I asked y'all to come over there, and only 2 people came. So if y'all missed it, then y'all missed it because you were invited and you had ample time. And I ain't trying to be nasty, but you missed it. And it was so Sanchez. Sanchez did not fall asleep. And if Sanchez was through the whole thing and didn't fall asleep, it was good. So y'all can re-see this one. I'm going to repost this one, and you can show your friends and family, and y'all pause it and talk to y'all people about it, and watch it with your man and pause and talk about it and see what he say. All right. So Mimi, come on, follow me over. I'm already on there, and we'll wait on you if you're coming over.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I love you, sis.
Okay. I love you.
Thank you again.
All right.